Before man can command his body to obey the desires of the mind, he must first know what he wants. The majority of people drift through life without a clearly defined purpose. They eat when they are not hungry, they sit when they should move, they speak when they should think. And they wonder why the body feels disconnected, dull, or sluggish. The fault is not with the body, it is with the absence of definiteness in the mind. If your purpose is vague, your energy will scatter. If your aim is weak, your muscles will follow suit. If your desires are confused, your biology will mirror the chaos. The body, like a faithful servant, responds only when the master gives clear and consistent commands. Those commands begin with purpose. To improve the connection between your brain and your body, you must first determine why that connection matters to you. This is not merely a biological inquiry. It is a psychological and spiritual one. Ask yourself, for what greater cause must my body become an obedient instrument of my mind? If your answer is merely to look good in the mirror, your motivation will falter in the face of resistance. But if your answer stems from a deep vision, such as becoming a leader of people, a protector of your family, a teacher of health, or a vessel of divine energy, then you will find that your body begins to respond with new enthusiasm. Every great achievement begins with definiteness of purpose. Consider the athlete who visualizes a championship, not just a good season. His body does not wake up tired because the mind has declared a mission worth rising for. Consider the soldier who must protect his comrades. His body does not hesitate when ordered to act, because his purpose is greater than his fear. Consider the mother who lifts a heavy object to save her child. Her body obeys with strength that defies science, because her intent is charged with purpose. These are not accidents. These are demonstrations of what happens when the brain issues commands that the body cannot ignore, because those commands come from a clear and powerful purpose. The human nervous system is not merely a network of wires and signals. It is a living mirror of your will. When your will is scattered, the signals to your limbs, your muscles, your breath, and your posture are scattered. But when your will is organized and single-minded, your entire physiology comes into alignment. You walk with direction. You breathe with rhythm. Your eyes focus. Your hands steady. Your words become sharp. In short, your body becomes a tool of expression for your mind. But this is only possible when you know exactly what you are aiming to achieve. The man who wishes to improve his health must be specific. Not "I want to feel better," but "I intend to restore my spinal alignment, build resilient muscle, and energize my immune system so I may live longer and serve greater." The woman who wishes to dance with grace must not merely say, "I want to move freely," but "I will awaken my core, train my balance, and express my soul through motion." Vagueness breeds mediocrity. Precision breeds power. The body follows the mind only when the mind knows its destination. Definiteness of purpose also eliminates the greatest enemy of physical mastery, hesitation. The body cannot respond swiftly if the mind is uncertain. Imagine an archer with a bow aimed but no target. How long will he hold his draw? How quickly will fatigue set in? Now picture another archer with a red circle in his vision. His breath aligns with his intent. His muscles tighten, then release at the moment of clarity. That is the difference between the body guided by purpose and the body led by confusion. Your nervous system is an archer. Your purpose is the target. Without it, no coordination is possible. Think of your brain not as a passive organ, but as the general of your entire being. A general must issue orders. The body is the army. The orders must be precise, timely, and repeated until they become automatic. But no army moves unless the orders are driven by a larger mission. In this way, definiteness of purpose is not just a motivational idea. It is a biological necessity. Without it, the general sleeps, the army scatters, and the enemy, whether it be weakness, lethargy, or disease, advances without resistance. There are those who say that the body has wisdom of its own. This is true. The body remembers habits. It knows pain. It adapts. But the brain is the command center. And if the brain does not take its role seriously, the body will regress to primal patterns, comfort-seeking, short-term pleasure, and avoidance of pain. If, however, the brain is charged with an unwavering purpose, the body will obey even when the task is hard. Even when discomfort arises, even when fatigue knocks, the body becomes stronger not merely through exercise, but through obedience to the mind's disciplined commands. Purpose must be written, thought must be crystallized into words, and those words must become part of your daily consciousness. Write your purpose for improving your brain. Body connection on a card, carry it, read it morning and night. State it aloud, you are not reciting a wish. You are issuing an order to your subconscious. That subconscious, when properly trained, sends signals to every nerve and fiber of your being. These signals, when repeated with intensity and clarity, become habits. Habits become reflexes. Reflexes become identity. One of the most overlooked truths in human development is this: your body becomes what your mind repeatedly asks it to become. If your mind is unsure, your body becomes sluggish. If your mind is afraid, your body becomes tense. If your mind is certain, your body becomes powerful. Certainty can be cultivated only through purpose. A purpose that you do not merely think about, but one that consumes you. Think of Thomas Edison, whose purpose to create electric light kept him awake through thousands of failures. Think of Helen Keller, whose mind broke through physical silence with the hammer of intent. These were not normal people. But neither are you. You become extraordinary when you think and act with extraordinary purpose. You must realize also that every action you take without purpose slowly weakens the brain. Body link. Idle sitting, unconscious scrolling, junk eating, careless speech. Each one breaks the chain between mind and matter. This is not a moral judgment. It is a neurological reality. The body begins to believe the brain has no control, and so it reverts to automatic behavior. That is why regaining control over one's body begins not with exercise, but with conscious living. Wake up with a plan. Move with intent. Eat with awareness. Speak with thought. The more decisions you make with purpose, the more trust your body places in your mind. And what is trust, if not the essence of connection? When your body trusts your mind, it stops resisting. It stops sabotaging. It becomes an ally. Your legs do not argue when asked to run. Your spine does not slouch when told to stand tall. Your breath does not panic when asked to slow. This level of connection does not happen by chance. It happens by building a relationship, one rooted in clear purpose, constant reinforcement, and conscious action. This is the secret to mastering the brain-body connection, not in advanced techniques or expensive devices, not in pills or programs, but in the daily discipline of thought, thought directed with purpose, purpose supported by repetition, repetition reinforced by faith, and faith expressed through action. You are not a machine. You are a mind commanding a system. When the mind is weak, the system falls apart. When the mind is divided, the system is confused. But when the mind is definite, the system becomes unified. Every nerve, every cell, every motion, every word becomes a symphony of intention. So I say to you now, decide. Declare and act. Decide what your body is meant to serve. Declare that vision with full conviction. And act in harmony with that vision every day. Your brain will begin to trust you. Your body will begin to follow you. And your life will begin to transform. The connection between brain and body is not a gift. It is a power that must be claimed. And it is claimed by one thing above all else: definiteness of purpose. Every action, sensation, and habit of the human body is, at its root, the expression of a thought. The fingers do not move unless the brain commands them to. The eyes do not blink unless the nervous system is cued. The breath does not slow unless the mind initiates a pattern. Your entire body is a reflection of the thoughts you accept and repeat. That is why it is not enough to wish for a stronger brain-body connection. Wishing is passive. Wishing is a fleeting cloud. But suggestion, autosuggestion, when used with purpose and repetition, becomes a commandment written into the nervous system itself. It is the bridge between thought and biology. Autosuggestion is the practice of deliberately planting thoughts into the subconscious mind until those thoughts become belief, and that belief becomes behavior. It is the key to mastering not just the body's functions, but the attitudes, postures, rhythms, and performances of the body in every domain. Through autosuggestion, you do not merely ask your body to change, you train it to change. You rewire its instincts. You become the author of your physical identity. Understand this. Your subconscious is always listening. It does not question your truth. It does not filter your words through logic. It accepts repetition as reality. If you say often enough, "I am weak," the body begins to conform to that image. If you declare daily, "I am clumsy," your limbs will obey. But if you repeat with belief, "I am coordinated, agile, and aware," the body will begin to search for ways to make this true. You are, in every moment, the hypnotist of your own biology. The question is whether you are using that power consciously or carelessly. Most people allow their thoughts to drift like leaves in the wind. They speak in vague terms about what they want. "I wish I had more energy. I need to be in better shape. I hope my mind clears up." These statements are too soft, too passive, too indistinct to influence the subconscious. The subconscious does not respond to weak suggestions. It responds to definite, emotionally charged, repeated affirmations. Autosuggestion is not simply repeating words. It is repeating a vision with conviction until the nervous system accepts it as fact. To use autosuggestion to improve your brain-body connection, you must first construct precise statements that reflect your desired identity. These statements must be written in the present tense, as if they are already true. Why? Because the subconscious mind does not operate in the future. It acts only in the now. A statement such as "I will become more focused" implies that you are not focused now and thus reinforces the current state. Instead, say, "I am focused, my mind is sharp, my body obeys my intent with perfect clarity." This is not lying, it is leadership. You are not describing your current condition. You are installing a new condition through suggestion. Repeat these statements aloud every morning and every evening. Do not merely read them. Feel them. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Speak slowly and with authority. Let your own voice be the sound that etches the new identity into your nerves. If possible, look into your own eyes in the mirror as you do this. The eyes are not just windows to the soul. They are transmitters of emotion. Speak to yourself with the energy of belief, and your entire nervous system will begin to receive the signal. Consider the case of an individual with chronic fatigue. If this person begins each day thinking, "I'm always tired," then every cell, every muscle, every system in the body begins to align with that thought. The body prepares for tiredness because it has been instructed to. But if instead that person declares with conviction, "I am energized, my body recharges itself, I am full of vitality," and repeats it day after day, week after week, the subconscious begins to reverse its expectations. The brain begins to search for ways to fulfill this command. Energy is drawn from rest, nutrition, posture, and breath with new awareness. What changed? Not the body first, but the command center. The principle of autosuggestion works with precision because it speaks the language of the subconscious, repetition, imagery, and emotion. The subconscious governs every unconscious movement. Your heartbeat, digestion, reflexes, coordination, even posture and gait. It is always running a script. Autosuggestion allows you to rewrite that script. It allows you to step into the role of a programmer rather than a passive user. But this power requires responsibility. You cannot speak empowering affirmations in the morning and then cancel them with doubt and complaint throughout the day. To influence the brain-body connection, your language must become consistent. If your goal is to train the body to respond with balance and coordination, but you complain repeatedly about being clumsy or slow, you are undoing the very wiring you are trying to build. The subconscious hears everything. Speak only what you want to become. There is no great performer, athlete, healer, or leader who has not used this principle. Whether they knew the name autosuggestion or not, they understood it intuitively. The boxer who repeats, "I am quick, I am strong, I am ready," before every match is not just building confidence, he is programming his nervous system to fire at maximum potential. The dancer who visualizes every motion while affirming, "My body is fluid, my rhythm is perfect," is not dreaming. She is conducting a neurological rehearsal that the body will obey. The child who grows up hearing, "You are smart, you are capable, you are strong," has an identity carved by repetition. And that identity becomes reality. This is not magic. It is neurobiology directed by thought. The body cannot perform what the mind has not rehearsed. The nervous system follows blueprints. Autosuggestion provides those blueprints through conscious repetition. And repetition is the mother of mastery. It is not enough to speak your affirmations once, or even once a day. Repetition must be frequent, and it must be reinforced by action. If you say, "I am disciplined," but live with disorder, your subconscious will detect the contradiction. It is not words alone that create belief. It is the harmony between words and deeds. So as you repeat your suggestions, begin to act as if they are already true. Walk as if your body is aligned. Breathe as if your lungs are strong. Stand as if your spine is straight. This is not pretending, it is training. The body learns through behavior. Marry your affirmations with actions, and you accelerate the rewiring process tenfold. Let us be clear, there will be resistance at first. The old program will not go quietly. If you have spent years telling yourself that you are tired, unfocused, weak, or uncoordinated, those patterns are deeply etched. But they are not permanent. The brain remains plastic throughout life. Neural pathways are not fixed. They are formed and reformed based on repetition. If you persist, if you repeat your new instructions day after day with belief and emotion, the old pathways fade. The new ones take root. What was once effort becomes ease. What was once forced becomes natural. Autosuggestion also plays a critical role in controlling the body's response to stress. When a person panics, it is often because their subconscious has been trained to equate challenge with danger. But by installing a new suggestion, "I remain calm under pressure, my body supports me in every challenge," you begin to reframe the stress response. The breath steadies, the muscles loosen, the mind clears. You are training the nervous system to choose power over panic. This is not a theory, it is a practice, it is a discipline of thought. I urge you to begin now, not tomorrow, not next week. Write your affirmations, keep them short, keep them sharp, speak them with emotion, repeat them constantly. Morning, noon, and night. Whisper them during workouts, repeat them during walks, speak them when you feel tired. Declare them when you feel doubt. Over time, your subconscious will absorb them, and once absorbed, they become instructions to the body, commands it cannot refuse. What kind of suggestions should you give? That depends on the connection you wish to create. If you want more strength, affirm strength. If you want more clarity, affirm clarity. If you want speed, balance, recovery, precision, affirm these with intensity. Here are a few examples. I move with precision and power. My body listens to my mind. My coordination is perfect and improving every day. My nervous system is sharp, fast, and fully alive. I feel energy flowing through me in every moment. There is no limit to what you can program, only the limits you believe in. Break those limits through suggestion. Shatter the ceiling of your past identity by declaring a new one, daily and deliberately. You are not here to be passive. You are not here to be average. You are here to master the tools that every great man and woman has used: thought, belief, and repetition. In every great transformation, there is a moment where the individual decides to stop being a victim of circumstance and becomes the architect of identity. That moment is created through conscious autosuggestion. It is the spark that reclaims control from the noise of the world. It is the step from unconscious reaction to deliberate creation. The brain and the body are partners, but one must lead. Let it be the mind, let it be your voice, let it be your vision, repeated so often and with such passion that the body can do nothing but follow. This is the promise of autosuggestion. This is the path to mastering the brain. Body connection not through force, but through thought. Not through chaos, but through command. Not once, but over and over, until what was once a whisper becomes a roar that moves every cell in your body. Speak with intention, repeat with belief, act with alignment, and your body will obey. The emotions you experience are not random. They are signals, electric messengers, energetic currents that travel through your nervous system and into your body, commanding movement, altering posture, regulating breath, and determining the tone of your voice. There is no separation between what you feel and what your body does. Joy lifts the chin. Fear tightens the chest. Anger clenches the fists. Confidence straightens the spine. These are not poetic observations. They are neurological truths. If you want to master the connection between your brain and body, you must understand and direct your emotions with the same precision as a captain steering a ship. Many people attempt to discipline the body while ignoring the storms that rage within their emotional mind. They focus on diet, on movement, on posture, on breathing, yet they allow their emotional life to run wild. What they fail to realize is that the emotion behind the action is what gives the action its power. A body moved by fear is a body that trembles. A body moved by enthusiasm is a body that performs. Therefore, to train the body, you must first train the emotional state from which movement arises. Emotions are the fuel of the nervous system. If the mind is the ignition and the body is the vehicle, then emotion is the fuel that allows movement, posture, tone, rhythm, and even healing to occur. Every great athlete, speaker, teacher, or warrior knows this instinctively. They do not just train their bodies, they train the emotional states they enter before acting. The boxer does not just throw punches. He enters a state of calm aggression, poised power, rhythmic intensity. The dancer does not just memorize steps. She becomes a vessel of grace, expression, and feeling. The speaker does not merely deliver words. He embodies conviction, purpose, and intensity. In each case, the motion follows the emotion. You have been taught to control your behavior, but I tell you now, if you do not control your emotional state, your behavior will betray you. The nervous system cannot be tricked. If fear rules your heart, your hands will shake. If doubt fills your gut, your voice will crack. If anger clouds your vision, your actions will be impulsive and chaotic. Therefore, the work of strengthening the brain, body connection begins not with external technique, but with internal mastery of your emotions. The first step is awareness. The average person does not know what they are feeling until the body shows the evidence. They notice tight shoulders, but do not realize they are angry. They notice shallow breath, but do not realize they are anxious. They feel tension in the stomach, but do not realize they are afraid. This ignorance severs the link between brain and body. To regain control, you must become aware of the emotional signals that arise moment to moment. Ask yourself throughout the day, what am I feeling now? Where do I feel it in my body? What is this emotion trying to make me do? This is not a practice in softness. It is a practice in strategy. Because once you identify the emotional command, you can either follow it or override it. You must also understand that every emotion produces a corresponding physical signature. Anxiety shortens the breath, calm slows it, confidence expands the chest, shame lowers the eyes. When you become a student of these patterns, you begin to see that by changing one, you can influence the other. That is the master key. If emotion controls motion, then motion can also control emotion. You are not a prisoner of how you feel. You can reverse the process by using the body to influence the brain. Stand tall when you feel small, and the mind will rise to match the posture. Breathe deeply when fear appears, and the nervous system will interpret safety. Move with power, and you will feel powerful. This is the great secret known by warriors, performers, and leaders across time. Emotion and motion are mirrors. One reflects the other. Change either one, and the entire system changes. This is not theory, it is biology. The vagus nerve, one of the primary pathways connecting the brain and body, responds to breathe, posture, facial expression, and voice tone. It collects information from the body and reports back to the brain. If your breath is rapid and your shoulders are hunched, but you do have to it alerts of danger. If your breath is slow, your chest open, and your face relaxed, the message is safety. From that message, your entire emotional state begins to shift. Therefore, when fear, anger, sadness, or doubt begin to rise, you must not allow them to command your body unchecked. You must meet them with movement, shake them loose, breathe them out, stand them down. Emotion is energy in motion. If you do not direct it, it will direct you. There is another important truth. Your brain and body remember your emotional states. They form patterns. The more often you repeat a particular emotion, the more easily you return to it. If you live in stress, your body becomes conditioned to stay in stress. If you rehearse confidence daily, your muscles will begin to remember what that feels like, and they will return to it faster next time. This is how emotional mastery becomes embodied over time. It is not a one-time decision, it is repetition. It is rehearsal, it is the daily discipline of aligning feeling with motion until they are one. You must begin to ask yourself, what emotional state do I want to live in? What feeling do I want to radiate through my body and into my actions? Do I want to be calm, focused, energized, grateful, determined? Choose your emotion as deliberately as you would choose your clothing. Do not let the world dress you in fear or doubt. Choose and then act in a way that reflects that emotional state. The body will follow. Visualization becomes a powerful tool in this process. You can rehearse emotional states through mental imagery. Close your eyes. See yourself moving through your day with confidence, with grace, with control. Feel the emotions in your muscles, your breath, your voice. The brain does not distinguish between real experience and vivid imagination. What you rehearse mentally, the body will begin to internalize. Visualize not just actions, but emotional patterns, how you want to feel in each situation. This is how warriors prepare for battle. This is how leaders prepare for challenge. You must do the same. There is also a deeper layer, your beliefs about emotion. Many people believe that emotion is something that happens to them, but emotion is not an accident. It is a reaction created by meaning. When something happens and you say, "This is bad," your body reacts with tension. When you say, "This is a challenge I can grow from," the body responds with energy. Meaning is the filter. If you change the meaning of what you experience, you change the emotion, and therefore change the way your body responds. You become the author of both thought and sensation. To improve your brain-body connection, begin to tell a new emotional story, one in which you are not reactive, but responsive, not overwhelmed, but empowered. When difficulty arises, say, "This is my opportunity to practice strength." When you feel discomfort, say, "This is the signal that growth is occurring." Your body will begin to believe you. Your nervous system will reorganize around that belief, and your actions will reflect a new reality. This is not a denial of emotion. This is mastery. You do not ignore what you feel. You acknowledge it and then choose what to do with it. You give emotion a job. You assign it a direction. You become not a servant to your feelings, but a commander of their energy. The most powerful emotional state for brain-body connection is a blend of clarity and intensity. Clarity gives the mind direction. Intensity gives the body fuel. When you combine the two, when you feel deeply and see clearly, you become unstoppable. Your movements become precise. Your breath becomes deliberate. Your posture becomes magnetic. You are no longer guessing your way through the day. You are performing, you are executing, you are commanding. I challenge you now to begin this work, to develop a ritual, not just of exercise or breath, but of emotion. Every morning, enter the emotional state you wish to live in. Use music, breath, movement, words, whatever it takes. Rehearse it until it becomes real. Do this before you act, before you speak, before you move. Prime your nervous system with feeling, and then let your body follow that rhythm. And remember, repetition is the mother of embodiment. You will not master emotional command in one day. But with practice, your nervous system will begin to obey your will. Your body will become a mirror of your emotional choice, not your emotional chaos. There is power inside you that remains unused, power in your breath, power in your posture, power in your emotional will. That power is released when you stop being a victim of your moods and become the creator of your state. That power is harnessed when you train your emotions to serve you rather than sabotage you. Emotion is not weakness. Emotion is not distraction. Emotion is not noise. Emotion is motion waiting for leadership. Lead it. And your body will follow with grace, strength, and alignment. This is the path. This is the law. This is the third key to unlocking the full connection between your brain and your body. You are not here to react. You are here to command, feel on purpose, move on purpose, live on purpose. And the body will become your perfect servant. There exists within every man and woman a force so powerful, so profoundly influential, that to ignore it is to remain imprisoned by habit and ignorance. This force is neuroplasticity, the brain's natural and unstoppable ability to rewire itself, to adapt, to restructure, to grow new connections and pathways. Understand this truth: your brain is not static. It is not fixed at birth. It is not cemented by age or circumstance. It is a living, evolving, electric system designed to change. The question is not if your brain will change. It is how you will direct that change. The brain, when acted upon by persistent thought and repeated action, reorganizes itself. When a thought is repeated often enough, it carves a physical trace in the mind. When a movement is practiced deliberately, it becomes automatic. When a pattern is rehearsed daily, the brain wires it into permanence. This is not a theory. This is law. The law of neuroplasticity is the cornerstone of self-mastery. It is the biological proof that no man is condemned to remain what he is. You can learn to think differently. You can teach your body to move with elegance, precision, and strength. You can become, through discipline, a new version of yourself. But understand this: neuroplasticity does not guarantee progress. It guarantees change. The brain adapts to whatever you repeat. If you repeat weakness, it will wire in weakness. If you repeat distraction, it will grow distracted. If you rehearse laziness, it will automate lethargy. But if you choose strength, if you choose focus, precision, willpower, and purpose, and repeat those with conviction, the brain will begin to mold itself around that command. Every habit you practice, every emotional state you rehearse, every posture you assume, every breath you take, these are instructions being given to your brain. And your brain, obedient and neutral, begins to comply. The man who understands neuroplasticity is never a victim of his past. He is never bound by his limitations. He knows that new pathways are always possible, if he has the courage to repeat new actions long enough. That repetition, intelligent repetition, is the chisel that sculpts new circuits into the brain. This is why the brain-body connection is not simply a matter of will, it is a matter of practice. Consider the child learning to walk. He stumbles, he falls, his muscles shake, his balance fails, but through persistence, he begins to coordinate. Why? Because each attempt builds a new connection in the brain. With each failure, the system corrects itself. The child is not born with the ability to walk. He builds it through repetition. You, too, can build new movement, new posture, new strength, new grace if you treat every repetition as a signal to the brain. Movement is not mindless. It is a message. It is an instruction. And when given with focus, it becomes transformation. Now consider a man who slouches at his desk every day. His back curves, his shoulders round forward, his neck juts out. Over time, this becomes his natural posture. Why? Because he has taught the brain to normalize dysfunction. The nervous system has adapted to the repetition. The brain does not judge right or wrong. It only obeys. You must therefore become ruthless about what you teach your nervous system. You must instruct it with intention, because it is always listening. Neuroplasticity means that the brain is not a dictator. It is a servant, but it is a servant that becomes the master if left untrained. If you allow negative thoughts to repeat, they become your belief. If you allow sloppy movement to repeat, it becomes your default. If you allow anxiety to repeat, it becomes your norm. But the moment you interrupt the pattern, the moment you say, "No more," and begin to rehearse a new rhythm, a new breath, a new movement, you begin to reclaim authorship over your own mind. Neuroplasticity, then, is the biological invitation to reinvent yourself. But reinvention requires strategy. It requires that you understand how plasticity works. You cannot simply repeat things randomly and expect transformation. You must train with intention. You must focus on what you wish to strengthen. Every time you focus on a movement, whether it's your posture, your breath, your stride, your grip, you are amplifying the signal in your nervous system. Attention amplifies adaptation. The more conscious your repetition, the faster the wiring occurs. This is why unconscious habit is dangerous. It builds without guidance. But conscious practice builds with purpose. To command the power of neuroplasticity, do the following. First, identify the pattern you wish to create, be it physical coordination, emotional regulation, posture, balance, or energy. Then, design a simple ritual that practices this new pattern daily. Repeat this practice not for the sake of repetition alone, but with full presence and intention. Visualize the brain wiring itself with each motion. Speak affirmations alongside movement to create dual input auditory and kinesthetic. Use your breath to anchor the nervous system in stability. Each repetition becomes not merely an action, but an instruction to your biology. You must also be patient. The nervous system does not adapt on your schedule. It adapts on its own timeline, and it requires consistency. A man cannot go to the gym once and expect strength, nor can he practice balance one afternoon and expect grace. You must show up day after day with discipline and belief. With each session, you are laying down myelin, the insulating layer around nerves that speeds up transmission. Repetition builds myelin. Myelin builds mastery. The more you repeat with focus, the faster the signal travels, and the more fluid your movements become. But the most powerful aspect of neuroplasticity is that it allows you to become the engineer of your own evolution. You do not need permission. You do not need perfect genetics. You do not need a special talent. You need only a vision of who you wish to become, and the discipline to repeat the behaviors that match that vision until your brain conforms. Consider a pianist. At first, each note is a struggle. The fingers hesitate, the eyes dart, the brain must think through every motion. But with repetition, the hands begin to move on their own. The music flows. This is neuroplasticity in action. the transition from conscious effort to unconscious excellence. The same is true for any skill, whether it is athletic movement, balance, endurance, reaction time, or coordination. The beginning is awkward, the middle is effortful, but the end is graceful, automatic, powerful. You must fall in love with the process, because it is through the process that the brain reshapes itself. And what reshapes in the brain is not just function, but identity. With every new pattern you repeat, you are not just becoming better at something, you are becoming someone new. You begin to think differently, speak differently, walk differently, confidence arises, precision increases. You no longer try to become, you begin to be. That is the deepest power of neuroplasticity, the ability to alter your very self through action. Thought alone is not enough. Thought initiates, but action engraves. You must move in accordance with the identity you seek. If you wish to be strong, move with strength. If you wish to be graceful, move with grace. If you wish to be calm, breathe with calmness. Repeat it daily. Let the brain rewire itself through your devotion. Let the nervous system conform to your command. This is the bridge from desire to destiny. But heed this warning. The brain cannot tell the difference between intentional and unintentional repetition. It will adapt either way. That is why you must guard your daily habits with vigilance. Every action is either a vote for your vision or a vote against it. You are sculpting your future with every breath, every thought, every move. Do not waste the power of neuroplasticity on mediocrity. Train your brain like a craftsman trains his hands with detail, with care, with daily discipline. Observe your posture. Observe your walk. Observe your breath. Where you find dysfunction, correct it gently but consistently. Replace unconscious habits with conscious rituals. Each time you do, you create a micro-transformation. And these micro-transformation repeated across days, weeks, and months become revolutions. There are no shortcuts. There is only repetition, guided by vision and fueled by belief. This is how the brain changes. This is how the body obeys. This is how a man or woman becomes master of themselves. You were not born with perfect coordination, or balance, or grace. No one is, but you were born with the ability to build those things, to shape them, to earn them through repetition. That is the promise of neuroplasticity. It is not a gift. It is a responsibility. The man who ignores this principle lives by default, repeating old patterns without question. The man who embraces it lives by design, repeating new patterns with intention. Which man will you be? Will you accept your brain as it is, or will you instruct it to become what you need it to be? The power is in your hands. Train with focus, repeat with belief, rewire with purpose, and you will transform not just your body, but your very nature. This is the way of mastery. This is the gateway to control.